Introduction. Hello and welcome to this video on the role of psychology in jury selection and trial strategy. Have you ever wondered how lawyers and legal teams select jurors? How do they choose who should be on the jury for a particular case? Well, the answer lies in psychology. In this video, we will explore the role of psychology in jury selection and trial strategy. Anecdote. Let me start with a story. In 1986, a criminal trial was held in Florida for the murder of a 22-year-old woman. The defendant was charged with the crime, and the prosecution was seeking the death penalty. The trial lasted for 6 weeks, and the jury found the defendant guilty and recommended the death penalty. However, after the trial, it was discovered that one of the jurors had fallen asleep during the proceedings. This led to a mistrial and a retrial of the case. In the second trial, the defense team used psychological tactics to select jurors that would be more favorable to their client. The jury found the defendant guilty but did not recommend the death penalty. This illustrates the importance of jury selection and trial strategy, and how psychology plays a significant role. Point 1. Understanding juror bias. The first point to consider in jury selection and trial strategy is understanding juror bias. Jurors come from different backgrounds, cultures, and experiences, and these factors can influence their decision-making. Research has shown that certain demographics are more likely to have biases, such as gender, race, age, and occupation. For example, a study by the American Bar Association found that male jurors tend to be more lenient towards male defendants, while female jurors tend to be more lenient towards female defendants. Lawyers and legal teams need to consider these biases when selecting jurors, as they can significantly impact the outcome of the trial. To expand on the first point of understanding juror bias, it's important to note that jurors may have biases towards the defendant or the prosecution, or towards certain types of evidence or arguments presented in the trial. Biases can stem from a variety of factors, including personal experiences, beliefs, cultural background, and social conditioning. Research has shown that demographic factors, such as gender, race, age, and occupation, can also influence juror bias. For instance, studies have found that jurors of the same gender or race as the defendant are more likely to be sympathetic towards them. Similarly, younger jurors tend to be more lenient towards defendants, while older jurors tend to be more conservative in their decision-making. Lawyers and legal teams need to be aware of these biases and take them into consideration when selecting jurors. One way to do this is by conducting a thorough voir dire process, which involves questioning potential jurors to determine their biases and attitudes towards the case. The goal of the voir dire process is to select jurors who are impartial and can make an objective decision based on the evidence presented in court. Moreover, lawyers may also use psychological profiling techniques to identify jurors who may be more likely to be sympathetic towards their client. This may involve analyzing juror demographics, personality traits, and past experiences to determine their potential biases. Understanding juror bias is a critical component of jury selection and trial strategy. Lawyers and legal teams need to be aware of the various factors that may influence juror bias and use this knowledge to select a jury that is impartial and can make an objective decision. By doing so, they can improve their chances of success in the courtroom. Point 2. The importance of voir dire. The second point to consider is the importance of voir dire, which is the process of questioning potential jurors to determine their biases and suitability for the case. Voir dire allows lawyers to assess the attitudes and beliefs of jurors, and to identify any potential biases that may affect their decision-making. Research has shown that the more extensive the voir dire process, the more successful lawyers are in selecting jurors that are favorable to their client. It's important to note that the voir dire process is not foolproof, as some jurors may withhold information or lie during the questioning. However, it is still a critical component of jury selection and trial strategy. To expand on the second point of the importance of voir dire, it's worth noting that the process of questioning potential jurors is not just about identifying biases. Voir dire also allows lawyers to gauge the personality traits of jurors and determine how they may respond to different types of evidence or arguments presented in the trial. For instance, some jurors may be more emotional or empathetic, while others may be more analytical or logical in their decision-making. Lawyers can use this information to tailor their case strategy and arguments to appeal to the particular traits of the jury. Moreover, voir dire can also help lawyers to establish a rapport with the jurors and build trust and credibility with them. By engaging in a dialogue with potential jurors, lawyers can demonstrate their knowledge of the case and their commitment to presenting a fair and impartial trial. It's also worth noting that the voir dire process is not just about the questions asked by the lawyers. Jurors may also ask questions or express concerns during the process, which can provide valuable insights into their attitudes and beliefs. Lawyers can use this information to address any concerns and build a connection with the jurors. Overall, the importance of voir dire cannot be overstated in the context of jury selection and trial strategy. By conducting a thorough and comprehensive voir dire process, lawyers can select a jury that is more likely to be impartial and receptive to their case. This can ultimately improve their chances of success in the courtroom. Point 3. Persuasion techniques. The third point to consider is persuasion techniques. During the trial, lawyers use various tactics to persuade jurors to their client's side. Research has shown that there are several effective persuasion techniques, such as storytelling, humor, and repetition. Lawyers use storytelling to create a narrative that is compelling and emotionally resonant. Humor is used to alleviate tension and make the case more relatable to the jurors. Repetition is used to reinforce key points and make them more memorable to the jurors. It's essential for lawyers to use these techniques effectively, as they can significantly impact the outcome of the trial. Point 4. The role of nonverbal communication. The fourth point to consider is the role of nonverbal communication. Jurors pay close attention to the nonverbal cues of lawyers, witnesses, and the defendant. Research has shown that nonverbal communication can significantly impact the perception of the case. Lawyers need to be aware of their nonverbal communication, such as eye contact, posture, and gestures. They also need to be aware of the nonverbal communication of others in the courtroom. For example, if a witness seems nervous or uncomfortable, it may impact their credibility in the eyes of the jurors. To expand on the fourth point of the role of nonverbal communication, it's important to understand that nonverbal communication can have a profound impact on how jurors perceive the case. Even when a lawyer is not speaking, their nonverbal behavior can convey a great deal of information about their confidence, sincerity, and overall demeanor. Jurors tend to be highly attuned to nonverbal cues, and they may draw conclusions based on even subtle changes in body language, tone of voice, or facial expressions. For instance, a lawyer who avoids eye contact or slouches in their chair may be perceived as unconfident or untrustworthy, while a lawyer who maintains eye contact and sits up straight may be seen as more credible and confident. Similarly, nonverbal communication can also impact the credibility of witnesses or the defendant. A witness who appears nervous or fidgety may be perceived as less credible, while a witness who maintains a calm and composed demeanor may be seen as more reliable. Moreover, nonverbal communication can also be used strategically by lawyers to convey a message or influence the jurors' perceptions of the case. For instance, a lawyer may use hand gestures or facial expressions to emphasize key points or to signal to the jurors how they should react to certain evidence or testimony. Nonverbal communication is a critical component of jury selection and trial strategy. Lawyers need to be aware of their own nonverbal behavior and the nonverbal communication of others in the courtroom. By understanding how nonverbal cues can impact jurors' perceptions of the case, lawyers can use this knowledge to improve their chances of success in the courtroom. Point 5. The importance of jury deliberations. The fifth and final point to consider is the importance of jury deliberations. After the trial, the jury deliberates to come to a verdict. Research has shown that deliberation can significantly impact the outcome of the trial. Jurors may change their minds or be influenced by others in the jury. It's important for lawyers to consider this when selecting jurors and presenting their case. Lawyers may also use jury consultants to analyze the jury deliberations and provide insights into the jurors' decision-making process. To expand on the fifth point of the importance of jury deliberations, it's essential to understand that the jury's decision is ultimately based on their deliberations. This means that the jurors' individual opinions and biases may be challenged and changed during the deliberation process. Jurors may have different interpretations of the evidence presented during the trial, and their initial opinions may be influenced by their personal experiences and biases. However, during deliberations, jurors have the opportunity to share their perspectives and discuss the evidence with their peers. As a result, their opinions may evolve, and they may be more likely to consider alternative viewpoints. It's important for lawyers to consider the impact of jury deliberations when selecting jurors and presenting their case. Lawyers may want to select jurors who are open-minded and willing to consider alternative perspectives, as well as those who are skilled at communicating and persuading their peers. Moreover, lawyers may also use jury consultants to analyze the jury deliberations and provide insights into the jurors' decision-making process. These consultants can provide feedback on how jurors reacted to certain arguments, evidence, or witnesses, and can offer recommendations for future trials. In conclusion, the importance of jury deliberations cannot be overstated. Lawyers need to consider the impact of deliberations when selecting jurors and presenting their case. Additionally, the use of jury consultants can provide valuable insights into the jurors' decision-making process and can help lawyers refine their strategies for future trials. Conclusion. In conclusion, the role of psychology in jury selection and trial strategy is crucial. Lawyers and legal teams need to understand juror biases, conduct thorough voir dire, use effective persuasion techniques, be aware of nonverbal communication, and consider the importance of jury deliberations. By using these psychological principles, lawyers can improve their chances of success in the courtroom. So, the next time you watch a trial, pay attention to the psychological tactics used by the lawyers and legal teams, and see how they impact the outcome of the case. Thank you for watching.